that I did, but you can see behind me the pipe garden structure that I've been working on. You can also see flies flying around my head. And over here we've got my garden with stuff growing in it. This is one of their just normal kind of pepper garden, and the neighbors are looking at me like I'm a weirdo, as if that's something new. And something I wanted to ask some of you about, if you actually know about these things, is that stuff. That stuff that's on the leaves, yellow stuff, what is that? I'm wondering if maybe it's chemical burn or some sort of fungus. And also, what are those guys? Little white things. Well, that actually looks like some sort of bleach, but now I used some spray fertilizer Miracle-Gro stuff on these, and then the next night I used some sort of fungus bug control spray on, and it doesn't seem like it really did that great of a job. Anyway, here's my catnip, and I have decided that these things are actually the stevia, that stuff. I've decided that that is actually stevia, so I'm going to stop pulling those things up, but I'm going to keep pulling those damn things up. Why is it that the weeds always grow better than whatever? Anyway, so you can see that these plants have kind of made general progress, but this yellow crap is what concerns me. Hopefully somebody can tell me what that is. And I know that the holes are caused by some sort of vermin. I've got a bunch of it, and I thought that they would kind of slow down. But it's been really hot. But what the hell is this stuff? And these things have been getting watered. Probably almost overwatered the other day. And over here, we're still getting some of that. But these guys in the pipe seem to be doing okay. Hey there.
Hi, Bob.
Hey. No, it's actually a working camera. I'm not walking around muttering to myself.
Oh, no.
Yeah, these guys seem to be doing all right.
Yeah, they're doing great. Yeah. I can't wait to see them actually bloom.
All right. Neighbor is having a problem with his water. So, speaking of brown water, there's a little water feature that tried to get cleaned out. And right here behind me is the work in progress of the vertical pipe garden, tube garden thing. And every time I look at that, I see that it's more and more askew, and I don't know if that's just a growing problem or if it was really that out of square. But however, I don't think it really matters, as long as it does what it's supposed to do, which is hold up these things. Now these pipes, I actually managed to fill these with dirt, and they've got the weeping hose, drip hose going through them. Drilled the little hole for those to come out. I don't know if it's important that I seal that off or what, but I don't think it's that important. But one hose will kind of come around and attach to another hose, because we don't really have that many hoses in this neighborhood. So hopefully those will make a complete circuit amongst themselves and just sort of keep it watered. I can imagine that overwatering might be a problem with these, but we'll see. I figured I'd get them up in place before I drilled the holes for the plants, and that might make some things a little easier, or not. Anyway, I got a nice barrel full of compost that came out of that compost thing. I just sort of ran it through the screen to kind of get it more down to a fluffy sort of thing. And this is a lump. Meow. Anyway, then I got some regular dirt, and I've just been mixing it pretty much 1 part of the compost, 1 part of this like regular topsoil stuff, and 1 part Miracle-Gro planting soil stuff, and 1 part kitty. Meow. Meow. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think I'll show you how I filled these tubes, because that took a little bit of thinking on my part, and I might put these tubes up where they're going to be. So there you can see how the pipes are going to sit up there with the hoses running through the back end. You can't really see that, but there's a hose running through. So the water hoses are going to make kind of a complete circuit going through each one to supply water. And then there's going to be the other set, which I will now try to show you how I filled them up. And in case you were wondering what I'm talking about with the hose, it's not that I'm not advocating any one brand or another, but Soaker hose, 50 foot, and I think I forget how much I got this for, like $6 or $8 or under $10 for 50 feet of it. Anyway, it screws on like that, and you can screw on another piece if you want, but the end is capped off, and this is made of kind of a porous rubber material. So just under a little bit of water pressure, it will soak and weep out. And water, it's generally meant to kind of go through a flower garden. But in this case, I've got them going through the tube, so I can, in theory, evenly water the tubes all the way through. So hopefully that'll work. It's all kind of experimental. Now you get your tube. Now in some of these tubes, one end is actually kind of flared more than another, so presumably, so these can fit one into each other. I don't know if you can tell, but I got kind of the cheaper PVC. This stuff was about $8 for a 10-foot piece, whereas a thicker, better PVC was considerably more. So anyway, then you get the cap, and you want to go ahead and fit these while you're at the garden store, or the hardware store, to make sure you're getting the right one. And they fit over the end just like this. But you want a hole in these for the hose to go through. So we will drill a hole. But in the meantime, here is a cat meowing. Okay. So I got the drill, I got the cap, and we're going to drill a hole in the cap. Okay, there's the hole, and you notice it's a little off center. That is presumably, hopefully, the hose will stay in a straight line and be offset, so the water will run out. And well, just trust me on this. Just put it slightly off center, unless you think you got a better idea. If you notice, I always have to say, all right, and okay, every time I turn the camera on. This piece of wood is here for no other reason than to make a workbench. And once again, here's the hole. And here's a piece of the soaker hose I talked about. I already cut a couple of pieces of this off, and it will go in the soaker hose and travel down the length of the tube thusly. And here's the tube. Not completely round, but once you put the cap on it, it becomes round, and it sounds cool. So you can feed the hose all the way through it. And the hose will come out the other end like this. Also, a little pro tip is these clamps. I love these clamps, these spring clamps. Right now you can get them for $1 a piece at Home Depot. And they're useful for all kinds of things. So if you're ever stuck on what to get me for my birthday or Christmas, you can't go wrong with clamps, either spring clamps or C-clamps, or things that fasten things to other things like Velcro and things. So I'll show you why those are important. Now I recommend pulling like 2.5 feet of this hanging out one end, and on the other end I put one of these. And the reason is so it doesn't accidentally get pulled all the way through while you're putting the dirt in, just to kind of hold it in place. And I'm going to have a useless amount, about 4 feet of hose left over. And that's okay, I'm sure I'll find something to do with it. And as far as having this much hanging out at the other end, probably only need about 6 inches or less than a foot, really, but this is one of those situations where you're better off having more than less. And when I got it all filled up, the other cap will go on like this, and there you'll have it. So anyway, how do we fill the thing up? Now, you probably sat there thinking, you'll take one little shovelful with one little handful at a time. Very tedious, very tiresome. Or you think, I'll just stand it all up on end. Well, we're talking about a 10-foot tube. And you're going to have to get you and your dirt up on a ladder to pour it in. So, my invention was a piece of stovepipe. And I paid a couple of bucks at one of the hardware stores for this stuff. This is the stuff that, you can, it's supposed to fit together like that. But I left it open, and then I actually used duct tape on a duct. Now, isn't that something? Somebody actually using duct tape on the material that it was intended for. And that is just to hold this end. So basically what you've got here is a big funnel. And the fun funnel thing about funnels is, if you can see that, it fits right inside of the pipe. And therefore, you have a big funnel, fits right inside the pipe, and you can just pour your dirt into this trough and then tip it up, the dirt slides in, and you can put another load in. But what's the fun of talking about it when we can do it? All right, and the proper mixture. I have no idea what any sort of proper mixture is, so like everything else I'm doing, making it up as I go along. Now we've got our compost, which I strained through that. And then we've got, put this on the Miracle-Gro potting soil, this stuff. And this stuff's kind of expensive. I hate paying like $10 for a bag of dirt. So I've got to kind of figure out a way to stretch it a little bit. So we'll take one shovel full, and this is a regular standard shovel, not a metric shovel, and put it in the bucket. Then we get one shovel full of the Miracle-Gro potting soil stuff that has the fertilizers, and we put it in the bucket. Then we get our 40-pound bag of generic topsoil, and we put roughly a bucket full, or a shovel full. Now you can figure out how to mix these things. I just kind of pour them from one bucket into another a few times. Okay, so it probably doesn't have to be mixed 100% to laboratory specifications, but it's probably best to do it like that. So any sort of half-assed mixing. So now we are going to use the funnel trough thing to fill up the tube. Probably quicker, more convenient ways to do it, but this is the way I'm doing it. Pour the dirt in, and you tip it up, and all the dirt slides down the hole. Take the dirt, pour it in the trough funnel, or the trunnel, or the froth. You take it, you tip it up like that, and hopefully most of the dirt falls into the tube. Also shaking it as you go helps kind of tamp the dirt down. You want it sort of tamped down, but you don't want it packed. Okay, it's acting like it's full. So it looks like just about one bucket of the mixture of dirt and compost will just about fill up a 10-foot by 4-foot tube, which is pretty damn neat. I don't know why, it seems like it should take more than that, but whatever. Anyway, then kind of shake it down a bit. You can't see this, but it shook down about 6 inches or so, which we are going to fill with dirt by hand. seen that once I cut the holes in it for the plants to come out of, whether or not the dirt will just fall apart and the whole process is being whatever. Anyway, so there's the cap. And there is putting the cap on over the hose. And putting the cap on. So in some ways it looks like a big firecracker or a bomb or something. And down at the other end is the clamp that's helping keep the hose from getting pulled through. I have one of the others. And so we got yet a third pipe done. And I got another pipe I'm going to do. Let's put this tube up on top where it will eventually reside. These tubes can, I'm not sure how much this weighs, but easily more than 50 pounds, probably 75 pounds maybe. So if you're going for design like what I've got here, you might want some friends to help you with this part. But since I'm a glutton for a stroke and a heart attack at my age, I'm going to do it myself. Alright, got that up there without too much pain. So, let's see, one set of pipes, you know, they get supported by these 2x4s, hopefully, and another set of pipes, and there'll be yet another one running back there. And now I'll show you the secret to what these hose things are, I hope.